I am going to be teaching you guys about something very important, mostly going over my settings for astrology, aka Bookmap, heat map, Dom, whatever you want to call it. This beauty right here that I use to take 100% of all my trades. I cannot trade without Bookmap. Super, super key, super, super important to me. And today we're going to go over all the settings I have, the indicators I use, and a little bit more about how to read Bookmap, right? If y'all like this video, I'll make an entire fucking hour-long video on how to actually read Bookmap, how to use it to read the market, how to use it to actually place trades if you are interested. So without further ado, let's get right into it. A lot of you have been asking me to make a settings video, so I'm gonna make this video unedited, unfiltered, just kind of get through in and out everything we have going on. So I mostly, let me move my camera. I know y'all love seeing me, but I'll make myself smaller. So I use, obviously y'all know intraday, I'm only trading the ES and the NQ. A couple weird things I might be seeing here, right? Like these numbers here, like what the fuck does that mean, right? This is an absorption indicator that I use on Bookmap. I have the volume profiles on the side. Don't worry, I'm going to go through over all the settings and exactly what I use. And some things, if you all can play around with it, I enjoy. But we have the order book right here. We have the session volume profile, the chart volume profile, absorption indicator, and then obviously everything else. You know, this is just, if you don't know what the fuck Bookmap is or what you're looking at right now, go to my other videos on my channel to kind of learn a little bit more about this. And if y'all leave enough likes or comments on this video, I'll make a whole video more advanced on how to read Bookmap. But without further ado, the first setting we're going to talk about here is the setting for all these passive participants. So you know above price they're sellers, below price they're buyers, right? So I like to actually filter out. So go here, we're filtering out the low end. So if you're going over to studies configuration, heat map right here, right? Lower cutoff, I have that max because I don't really care about the small fish. I care about the big fish. And what this is actually doing is deleting, not really deleting, but just removing those small little offers on the tape so you don't get confused and you really have more of a focus on the big shit, the big dogs going on, because really that's what you all want to look or to be looked out for, right? The big guys, not the small guys. Now, upper cutoff, I actually leave that at around, I mean, no, this would be like 88%, right? You can have it all the way down if you want. All the way up, obviously you won't see shit, but I like to leave it at right about here. Using the best thing I can really look for, or if you don't want the upper cutoff at all, it won't filter the offers. It'll all just pretty much look like this. So you have to just pay attention to the order book, see the exact number. But if I leave it at right here, right, you get a little bit of a color difference, right? You see a little bit of a filter either from orange, dark orange, yellow, even to red, right? So that's why I like doing that. And then the absorption indicator, where are this one right here? The only one I use, absorption indicator that I have going on right now. How likely am I to recommend this to a friend? Very likely. You're welcome. So if you want to know how to get this, I'll put it down in the description below. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. Maybe I'll gatekeep it. No, I'm just kidding. Anybody can have this. It's pretty easy to get. But this is the settings I have for it. 1 second for the trade volume within that 0.01 second, millisecond of the trading volume, or just 1 second. But if it's equal to 100, mark the chart. So you can actually move this to whatever you want, 1,000. I have it at 100, so at least 100 for absorption. I've been messing around with it just because it doesn't really matter what it's at, because like you would get like a bunch of these coming in, right? So you can kind of just do some quick, easy math. But if you want to set this to like 1,000 and be even more accurate, right? You can. And then today we'd have no absorption indication. We want to set this to 500. Let's see. Any indication? Yeah, we had one off the opening for 500. 100 for me is good. It's like I can just do the quick math in my head, add it up. 100 is exactly where I want to see it, and we get all these offers coming in. So what this is showing us is absorption. simply put. So let's say you have a big offer that gets absorbed by a passive participant. It will show us, and it'll show us the number, right? This is what it will be for buyers absorbing aggressive sellers. And on the other side, this is what it will look like for, zooming in, barely got absorbed. That's what it will look like with the other side, right? Sellers absorbing aggressive buyers. So very simple, and this just kind of helps you really have an easier view instead of zooming in, be like, oh, those aggressive participants get absorbed? Do they not get absorbed? So that's what I have for that. And this, again, not many more. I don't want to use other indicators, hella indicators on Bookmap. This is one I've been using for a while now. You could test the alert, whatever it is. Don't go crazy with the settings. This is literally it. You can adjust this if you want, but nothing else for me. 30 on that one, 10, and pretty simple. Now, we're going to go over the volume profiles, right? I love volume profiles, especially if you're looking for dead volume ranges, especially if you're looking for the massive offers on the book. So what the session volume profile will show me is actually the volume profile for the entire future session. So the open to close will have the volume profile for it, right? You can have it on aggregate, show ask. You can have it just show delta, but for me, I like to see the bid and ask instead of just a combination. So I like to see exactly. I'm showing just the delta, right? I mean, it's good, but I like to see, exactly how many more aggressive sellers versus aggressive buyers versus passive buyers versus passive sellers there actually are, instead of just kind of just one, right? I like to look at both of them in combination. View up line don't use because I have it on my chart. Point of control line don't use because I have it on my chart. Bars only. I don't really like the numbers because, to be honest, it doesn't really matter to me. I can just kind of tell from the overall range session how big it is. But if you're a numbers person, you can put the numbers on there. For me, it doesn't really make a difference. For me, I just like the bars, like a little clean. I use numbers for the order book and CVP, and I'll show you why in a second. But you can split the display if you want, inverse if you want. For me, no thank you. And you can kind of align them, but again, it's all personal preference. I like it like this. Order book, I don't have it aggregate, right? I have it strictly just showing the exact order book. So bid, showing the ask. You can extend it if you want. Percentage, I know some people like to use percentages. I don't. I have the bars and numbers because I actually want to see the size for these. Again, it doesn't really matter. The chart volume profile here just shows me this profile for the current session I'm looking at. So let's go over the examples really quick, the settings. So bid, view upline, I do have it on the chart volume profile because when I'm like super zoomed in or super zoomed out, it helps me kind of know exactly where I am. On the chart, delta, same thing as before. It can kind of show you the delta, but I like to actually see the total, right? So all in combination with each other. Then pretty much same thing. You can have inverse, you can have split. I like the split on the chart volume profile because I mean they each kind of give me a different view. So I mean if I had this one on split, I'd probably have the chart volume profile not on split. So I kind of see like from different perspectives, different visual image. And again, it shows you the same data, same information, just all the personal preferences is what I've been using for a long time. So I've been sticking with it for a minute. It doesn't really matter again. And session volume or the chart volume profile, you can see if I zoom in, right, only shows me what I'm looking at versus if I zoom out, it'll show me everything I'm looking at. And then we have the session volume profile that literally just shows me the volume profile for the session. So if I'm kind of coming back and I'm analyzing pre-market or I'm analyzing post-market tracking or quoting my trades, right, I'll go ahead and look at all of this and see during this session, most of the volume was kind of from these 30s to 50s, right? No volume beneath this. So dead volume area, which is kind of why I'll look for a move into these dead volume areas. Because like, let's say I'm going short into a dead volume area, like right here, right? Great confidence and confluence is that this will actually just get broken. Not enough orders to kind of stop us out all the way to the 59.90s, which is where we bounced off this morning that we called off. So that's part of the settings. Now, the last bit I have here for you guys is right here. The large, large trade alerts. Where is dot series? So some people, not one of them, like to use the total volume, which basically will give you all kind of like it does for delta or not on the side, right? It'll give you the buyer and then the seller volume kind of in combination with each other instead of just, with the delta basically of who's actually winning. So total volume versus volume by delta. So it's buy minus sell. So kind of like a footprint chart will give you delta. If you have buy delta, right? Buy minus sell. For me, it's like I have a footprint chart and a Bookmap at the same time. It's really my favorite thing to do. The reason I like to use a footprint chart is because it's a little bit more organized, especially in the 5-minute time slices. Now you can actually turn on the candlesticks here if you want, and then kind of have, I like the 5-minute obviously, and kind of have a chart overlaid onto your Bookmap. Look a little bit like this. A little ugly, right? I'm not a big fan, so you can do it by I have different kinds of candles as well. You can kind of literally change a lot of this shit up here, kind of make it just like a chart. You can trade off this too. You can like literally Bookmap is an all-inclusive tool. It has everything I use to trade. That's why when I'm traveling and I'm on my MacBook, I strictly use Bookmaps to place trades, not to place trades. I strictly use Bookmap to do my footprint chart analysis, volume profile analysis, Bookmap analysis. Literally everything is done on Bookmap because it has everything. Now again, back on the dots, I like to display the delta, not the total volume, just like a footprint chart. Right, and then that is literally it. Everything else is default. I wouldn't change a single thing. I'm not really a cumulative volume delta, just a plain. I mean, I like it with this, but again, all personal preference. If you want to have that on there, have your position on there. Pretty much everything can be done. I like the CVD on here. Positions can also, this is not on, but it basically this gives you for the session. You can kind of customize. So my sessions actually through the futures open and closed. It will give me the total cumulative volume delta, meaning you'll get all the negative delta, all the positive delta, and combine them into one number for me, so you kind of get a good bias of the session. You can use the bar, the H bar, or just straight up text, whatever fits your boat. I like the circle because it looks cool. That's my only reason for that one. But I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Pretty simple, just my clear settings of Bookmap. And if y'all do, leave a comment down below, and I'll give y'all a lot more help on how to read Bookmap, especially after a day like today. We can kind of go over this really quickly. I actually had a trade today where I got stopped out break even and I went straight to my take profit. But talking about this morning, right? If I pull up my pre-market analysis that I do every single morning, right? Wrong one. We talked about ES longs at 59.90, demanding to move into the 620s, right? And the breakup of the 620s and the 635s. They both played out to the T. So off the open, what do we get? So off the open, right, pre-market, I did see a offer at these 6,000s and an offer at the 59.90s, right? Both that we're going to play into. Now this 59.90 offer, it was 6,000 after, but before pre-market, that same offer was there. Aggressive buying was there. So off the open, right, this gets canceled because we had big data at 8:30 a.m., which is when this got tapped into. So if the data wasn't there, probably could have found some good longs. But tap into that with weakness. So this is exhaustion of sellers. So sellers are pushing into a level where we know there's a lot of passive buying going on. They got canceled because of news and they're exhausted. So very, very small. Then what do we see? What do we see after that, right? Price sells off, and then we get a passive buyer that absorbs that one aggressive seller we had, and price starts hanging out at that same price. Then what happens next, right? We get a passive seller that absorbs a big aggressive buyer we had in the same range. So price right now is pretty balanced. Can't really tell who's mostly in control until we actually start making a move. So this starts to get confirmed right after we see what happened here again, a passive. So basically after we see the reactions, we can't predict, right? If we don't see sellers below where we had passive buyers, right? If we don't see buyers above where we had passive sellers or vice versa, that will kind of deconfirm the buy. So if a big seller gets absorbed, but we see aggressive prints underneath the seller, they're still in control. If a big buyer gets absorbed, but yeah, we're still seeing prints above the buyers, right? Buyers absorbs, print went up. Buyers absorbed, took a while, but prints went up. And we keep seeing, right, these aggressive or these passive buyers really hold these sellers, not move down with them. Again here, right? Gets absorbed, price moves up, right? What do we see here? Buyer get absorbed, but price still moves up, right? The sellers that are getting absorbed are not making price move down. The buyers that are getting absorbed still are seeing price move up. And that happened the whole way up. So it's painting a picture for us. And guess what, right? Looking at the candlestick charts, what happened? We just shot straight up. We only started shooting down when we started to see aggressive sellers fill passive buyers and the market moving down. This is the first time it happened, was right here. And then what do we see after that? Huge waves of passive selling and exhaustion from buyers, right? Holding the market down. So paying the story, using the Bookmap for confluence is super, super key, and it will help you with any strategy you are using. So hopefully this helped you guys out. If you want a more in-depth video, make sure to let me know, and I will do what I can for y'all. And I'll see y'all in the next video, guys. See y'all in the next video. Remember, if you made some money today, taking some good trades, right? No need to chase the market. No need to chase anything. Today, guess what I did? I got stopped out, break even, straight to take profit. And guess what I'm doing? I'm not chasing. I'm calling it a day, coming back tomorrow, up almost over 10K for the week. And I want to keep my green streak alive. So I'll take a break even day. Peace out, guys. I'll see you in the next video.